back. So I think we had some live stream issues, but I feel like we're back. So hopefully I'm talking to some people listening. Otherwise, I'll just be talking to myself again today. We have event 4, sandbag carry and load, coming up next. So this will be 120 kilo sandbag Husafel, 120 kilo sandbag, 140 sandbag, and 150 sandbag. So 4 implements in ascending weight, 10 metres up, loaded to a 1.2 metre platform. Big Mac, Macaulay Tinker off first. So Big Mac is actually nursing a little bit of a biceps injury, so he'll be very diligent on his picks and loads here. But standing at 6'4", he's going to have the load component of this event very, very comfortable. Onto the 140 kilo sandbag, onto the shoulder.
Gets it to shoulder.
And over the platform there, making absolutely sure that it's on.
Come on, cheer him on, guys. It's 150 kilos.
150.
Come on, Matt.
Into the lap.
Let's get this one done.
And he's onto the shoulder.
Yes,
And for the final 10 metres.
Yes.
And clear.
Incredible performance. I think that's a good time for the first athlete. Going first is always tough. You've got to put it all on the line. Well done.
So now the loading crew, we say this at pretty much every strongman comp, but they work probably harder than the athletes because they have to reset these 4 bags 9 times over the course of this event. So they'll use the trolleys and some equipment here because it is hard work. So we're just waiting for times to come in.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, hello, Mason. How'd we go?
Yeah, so apparently the banging tunes that we were pumping, YouTube gave us a warning earlier and then dropped the whole stream out. So we've restarted the stream, shared the new link that we've just put on the AS Instagram page. There's no music here.
Yeah, so we're obviously very aware that we need to be careful about copyright infringements. We don't actually have any music playing here, so you can just hear Ben on the mic. You know, as far as that's the only kind of background noise we might be picking up through the effects mic, and then it's just us and the noise of the strongman. So I don't know where YouTube's got this copyright infringement from. But nevertheless, we're back live.
All right, so the red shirts are putting in the work.
We've got even Tiff on the trolley as well, really working hard. So Big Mac loading all 4 sandbags in 54.63 seconds. Now, if they're unable to load all sandbags, they will get a distance score on their last.
Come on, guys. Take the noise.
And Big Tyler Helm, first bag, comfortably on.
For these big lads, it's probably about 5 paces back across that 10 metres, I reckon.
It's 120 kilos there.
Just like that, the 120.
And again, Tyler Helm, 6'2". Oh, he's having a little finger cramp there. I'm not sure if you could see that. His index finger on his left hand was stuck in the flex position, which I can imagine would make it a little troublesome picking up a sandbag.
I reckon. So was that cramping or?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yep. So he's got 20 seconds to get this last bag.
And he's got the same issue again, just reefing his palm open. Probably got a good slow-mo of that.
Just cranking it back into position.
I've had that problem myself many times before.
Yeah, right.
Getting tackied up with Atlas stones and cramping at the end of the day, and your fingers get stuck in, you know,
yeah,
the
right.
curl
I've
position.
never experienced that myself.
Yeah, so I'm personally really prone to cramping. So this sort of weather, yeah, it's obviously.
I
so
have
much
seen
sweat.
that firsthand, actually, where you had potentially one of the worst water cuts that I've ever seen, and every muscle in your body cramped.
The water cut was fine. It was just the refeed. I might have taken a little bit too much potassium, but yeah. So the full body spasms were fun in the hotel room in Ohio, but We got there.
Luckily, there's no camera pointing at us, and I won't try and recreate it. I do remember trying to massage one of your feet whilst also eating your spaghetti bolognese that you were supposed to be eating because I was really hungry.
You bastard. So, good times.
Not a problem for these guys, though, because they don't do water cuts.
Exactly.
They've just got the heat and the...
Although I reckon they're probably losing that many litres of fluid today.
True. Yeah, true.
All right, so Tiana Farraway.
So that Husserfeld-shaped bag, easy pickings, cranks it up onto the platform. Fast feet on the way back. T is a very athletic heavyweight competitor.
He's definitely been the quickest through the transition so far. And this is the key for these moving events, is being able to move quickly from implement to implement. You'll make up so much time and being really efficient with your picks.
Yeah, they're 3 seconds. Like, even if you're going a little slower when you're actually carrying the heavy implement, like, there's no reason to not move quickly in between when you're not carrying it.
It's going to be a really solid time.
There it is.
Unofficially, just a touch over 42 seconds. So taking out the lead for this. So Tyler Helm loaded 3 bags in 40.54 seconds, so they will receive split times on each bag.
So we got cheeky return there from Vijit, just grabbing it and running back. Now, normally we sort of frown upon that, but Vijit is actually an ASM level competitor. He's training for ASM in a couple of months, so...
Particularly when we multi-weight class shows, the lighter weight classes, we don't want to ruin the illusion of strength. So, your bigger spotting and loading crew are under explicit instructions not to lift their people.
Yeah, sometimes that just that gets lost in translation every now and then.
Yeah, well, they can sometimes do a D Wally lifting the shackles one-handed in his slides. Making us all look real silly.
Yeah. Doesn't even do strongman.
Yeah. I think he had a can of drink in the other hand as well.
Likely, being D Wally, yep.
All right, so we've got Jordan Osborne, so another really fast-moving, efficient strongman. Look for his speed in the transitions.
So nice high pick with that coffin-shaped sandbag. Keeps it off of his legs, allows him to move quickly.
This is a sort of
same deal with the standard sandbag.
We saw in 2022 when he was the crown champion, Australia's strongest man. It was really off the back of his transition work on the moving events.
Third bag is on. That second bag did go off the back. I'm not sure if the rules require it to stay on or not. We will check in with that later.
We've had some other bags fall off.
Okay, sweet. I mean, the work has been done. They've got to the height and it's been loaded, so that's fair enough. So just diving at that crossbar.
And being fortunate enough to maintain it in the lap, but out of gas.
They're all yelling at him. Big Mac's going to get in his ear, finish this off. It looks like he's going to get timed out, though. There it is.
So he'll be fast through 3 bags for sure, but just running out of gas on that extension. And you can see very low in his lap when carrying it. So that obviously obstructs your running, obstructs your breathing. And then when you get to the platform, not having the power to extend through the hips. So he did the right thing. He paused, tried to go for the extension, but just, not enough power left.
And look, that can be a tactic, shouldering a bag, where if you take a little bit of extra time at the start, shoulder the bag, and then your legs are unhindered for the run, but then when you get to that 1.2 platform, you're throwing it off of your shoulder onto the platform. So you take the time at the start when you're fresher as well. Was one of the early, did Mac shoulder a bag
so
at the start?
Mac shouldered the 2 heavy bags as well, and again, that is just, there's a cost, right? So you can get off the mark quicker by carrying it at the hip, but your loading is obviously going to be quicker if you take the time to shoulder it.
Yeah.
And then you should be able to make
bit of a
some time.
gamble,
So
I guess.
It's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
But and so particularly Jordan, who is one of the shorter at 6'1".
Yeah.
Competitors.
Objectively short.
So Mac at 6'4", just having that extra reach and height, he probably could go from the hip, where Jordan probably should shoulder.
Yeah, interesting. All right, so fast movement from BJ there on the first one. Easy peasy.
Very delicate place of the bag. He obviously must have saw Tiff's death stares as the sandbags were coming
Didn't want to have to catch one, yeah.
So looking at how high BJ's carrying the bag, just a really comfortable load. But as the weight increases and fatigue sets in, can he maintain that position?
Moving well with that third bag now.
Really
nice and high on the chest. He should be successful. Yep, there it is.
Really strong.
Now he's got to breathe and get that air in. He's got lots of time to finish this. There'll be good points for him, regardless of his time, if he can manage to get that fourth bag on.
Really easy.
Sets it in the lap. Now, can he just get that extension at the end of the run? He can.
4 bags through for BJ Stone.
Probably not the fastest time, but having 4 bags means he's already stepped ahead of some of the guys. They're good points.
And so the way this event is scored, because there's no distance score, it is only split time, you're actually better off having a rest or pacing through. So these later competitors now know, okay, 4 bags is definitely going to be good points, or at least the top half as it currently stands.
Yep.
Are you better to go slow and methodical and ensure that you definitely get your 4th bag, or do you go quick through 3 and hope for the best on 4?
Yep. Yeah, try and lock in that fast third sandbag split, because, I mean, you could possibly get that last bag halfway down the field and drop it. You won't actually get any credit for that. You'll only get credit for the split on the third.
This is the real difference between strongman and other strength sports, is there's so much in-game strategy that you have to make audible calls on the fly on what is my strategy. I had a plan. The other competitor is going to force my hand. I have to change it up, and I've got to do something to win this event. So we've got now Eddie Williams, a super experienced competitor. So now we're going to see, what's he do? Fast through 3 or slow and methodical through 4? Or can he just blast all 4?
There it is. He has launched that first one.
Wow.
Now, Eddie is a big fella, but he's got that football background.
How graceful was that running? So light on his feet.
We're going to have to go to Louis for some slow-mo, hopefully, on that one.
He's almost skipping.
I want to see a soundtrack over that later. That is delightful. So there's the third bag. Now, a tall man as well. That chest-high carry is probably good enough to just go straight onto the platform.
So now, does he take a breath, take a moment, and ensure to get 4, or does he try and push and get a strong time?
Yeah, get that outright win. He's got 20 seconds. There's the pick. Just getting that done. He has to load this, though, to be able to register any points from that 4th bag. It's reset. There's the hips. It's on, and they've given it to him.
Almost a Brian Shaw debut. I'm going to want to
minus
say
the ocean.
2009 WSM sandbag load through the water, where he thought it was on, but then rolled off, and then cost him some big points.
But it has stayed on.
Excellent footage there, because you've got Big Z drowning in the background because he's fallen under the bag.
It's a wild concept, that early World's Strongest Man thing of, like, let's put heavyweights carrying sandbags in the water.
But they started on a plinth out of the water, so the first people went through, the bags were dry, and then they obviously got heavier as they got wetter.
Yeah, I've often wondered that. Like, does everybody get their own sandbag, or does the last bloke get one that's full of water and it's 50 kilos heavier? Pretty wild, but no water sources here, so we're okay.
All right, so quick recap on scores. So we've got Tiana Farraway with your leader on 4 bags in 42.13 seconds. BJ Stone 50.08 and Macaulay 54.63 all through 4. Tyler Helm and Jordan Osborne on 3 bags apiece. Coco up next. The shortest man in the field with the biggest arms.
Oh, he's fast between bags there. He's picking up those valuable seconds. He knows he's going to have to do some extra work, because he loses a couple of inches of height on some of the fellas, but he's moving really fast.
And due to the shorter arms, he's opting for a vertical kick rather than the horizontal kick, where we see some of the larger athletes. So it makes it a little bit easier for him to pick, but the load is a little bit more challenging, but he's making quick work of this. Does he shoulder, or does he go from the hip?
So it's just slowing him down a little bit, because the bottom of that bag in that vertical position is actually sitting on his quads. So not only is it heavy, but it's actually working against him. He's got to get that extension.
So he should turn the bag horizontal here, or he's going for a really deep pick, but he'll be fast through 3, so you'll still score some points, but just ran out of steam.
Yeah, and a really challenging combo of like shorter statured athlete, vertical bag, like all of the maths are sort of stacking against you there.
So in that scenario, yeah, Coco's probably better to take the time to shoulder and get it while it's fresh and then make the load a lot easier. But
I mean, it is, what, a 160 kilo bag?
150 kilos.
150 kilo bag, so like maybe the shoulder is not an option. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
It's interesting, but blindingly fast on those first 3 lifts.
So Eddie Williams in the previous heat, so we've obviously got a little bit of delay with scores coming through, 56.17, so currently sitting in 4th position.
So we have 2 athletes left, the 2 fellas from across the ditch, one via the UK and one local. We've got Shawn Logan up next, followed by Matt Ragg.
Spoke with Shawn earlier in the break, because as we noticed, had a little bit of a hobble from the log and the farmers, not looking too comfortable. I said, are you carrying any particular injury? And he said, yes. I said, what from? He goes, my life, basically. So nothing specific occurring for Shawn Logan at the moment, but just the wear and tear of strongman and previous athletic endeavours, really. So he's had his legs and feet rebuilt a few times and all sorts of stuff.
Now, I have heard a couple of whispers that himself and Matt might be attempting some pretty big deadlifts over in New Zealand at the end of February. There's a max deadlift event there, and the 2 of them are putting up some massive numbers. But Shawn is moving now. He's got the first one on.
They're looking really comfortable under the bag.
Nice high pick there, no impeding of the legs, which is great. Straight onto the platform. So this is good so far. Let's see if he can bank some good points by getting the 3rd one nice and quick.
140 kilos, make some noise, come on.
So 1,000-pound deadlifter should be no trouble about picking this bag up. Little stumble, a little bobble.
Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about the difficulty of the extension at the end and the load, but picking these things up is it's not easy. Like, we often overlook it. Like,
and these last 2 bags are a little softer than the 2 earlier bags in the run. So when the bag is soft, as you start to get a manhandle, it sort of shape shifts and moves around you. It makes it a little bit unwieldy, where the really tightly packed bags, you can just pick them up and it's rock solid. You can get going with it.
So 3 bags there successful for Shawn. Opted out of the 4th one. We have one last competitor for event number 4. It's Matthew Ragg. I expect he's going to move fairly quickly through this.
So your overall competition leader, Matthew Ragg, who's currently got a 5-point advantage to Coco overall. So this is going to be really key for him, because if he can get some breathing space here on Coco and BJ Stone in 2nd, he may come close to an unassailable lead, or pretty well without doubt.
Yeah, he might not have to put a heap of work in on the stones if he doesn't need to, but he also might just put on a show. I know the guy's got a massive stone in training, so
getting the bags as he likes. Each athlete just has their own peculiarities on how they like things set up. There's Shawn Logan just collapsing in the background there. WSM finalist 2023, 6-time New Zealand strongest man, Matt Ragg, and a little skip, hop and a jump to get that bag over.
Literally over, straight over.
Maybe he missed the rules meeting that it's just a load, not a clear.
I mean, there is a strongman event called the bag toss, but generally they're about 16 kilos and you throw them over a bar, not 140 kilos over a platform. So
manhandling these bags.
Lightweight work there. That's a really fast time on all 3. I'm not sure this last one's going to challenge him greatly.
And so high in the lap there, just running completely free.
There we go.
Oh, and Tiff almost lost her foot there.
So a super fast time there from Matt. We don't want to say he's taken the outright lead straight away, but it looked fast from here.
Unofficial, I'm going to say. He's definitely he's taken the win there. So Tiana Farraway, 42 seconds is the time to beat. just waiting for that to come through. But T has done Matt Ragg a solid here. So if we look at the overall points chart, T is on the lower end of the scale at the moment. So that's just going to get an even greater points differential when compared to Coco in second place overall.
Yeah, so obviously if you want to win a strongman comp, the easiest way to do it is win every event, because then it doesn't matter about strategy or anything like that. But if you aren't winning all events, other people's performances can actually have an impact on how you go, which is what Cam was just talking about. We call it stealing points off of people. So if you've got a clear 1 and 2 all day, it's really hard to split those two. But then if you don't have a clear first and second, other people, like T has just done, can sneak in there, get some points, and sort of bump other people up and down a bit. And, I mean, we're going to wait until the placings come in, because I can't do maths on the fly that quick. But
yeah, so we've got...
Guys, if you haven't tried the amazing...
So Matt Ragg takes out event 4, sandbag, curry, and load with a time of 36.72. So
yeah, comprehensive.
8 seconds faster. No, that's not even close to being correct. 6 seconds faster.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Quick maths to Tiana Farraway, followed by BJ Stone, Macaulay Tinker, Eddie Williams, all loading 4 bags. Jordan Osborne, Coco, Tyler Helm, and Shawn Logan through 3. So T, BJ, and Macaulay Tinker, again, is going to get in between Coco and Matt Ragg at that first and second spot. So we've got BJ Stone, and we're just tallying up these overall points, but BJ Stone's currently sitting in 3rd. So T and Macaulay Tinker, your kind of 2 lower ranked overall competitors today, getting in between Matt Ragg and Coco.
So you can't see it because the camera's pointing at our 2 heads, but we've got a live score television out here on the floor, and we've got all these big lads standing around looking at it like they're waiting for their exam results to come out or something like that.
Have they made the football team?
Yeah. Have they made the dance team?
I was going to say, maybe the ping pong team or something.
So that concludes event number 4. We have one more event today to decide the champion. It is the Atlas Stone Run. It's the quintessential strongman event, the big round concrete balls. Who can get 5 of them onto the platform as quick as possible wins. We're just waiting for these overall points to come in. Cam, what have you seen today? Like, what's impressing you? What's not impressing you? Like,
yeah, so like I think obviously Matt Ragg, really, the standout performer. He's obviously in a real purple patch of form. His training lifts are going through the roof.
And here's the thing though, like, so the world is discovering Matt Ragg now, which is funny because down here, like, he was at 2017 Arnold's in the pro show.
Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, and like he has been getting better and better through that time. He's been very good for a lot of that time, but hasn't sort of been noticed, so to speak. But he has now. His deadlifts are huge, which has sort of got him noticed. And he went to Worlds this year based on his 3rd place at OSG. So
Correct,
me and G talked about that earlier. It's the title event for all of the weight classes except for the heavyweight men. But the heavyweight men are still there, and what they do is they look at that top 10 even, but certainly that top 3, and go, which of these guys are good enough to go through to that very pinnacle of heavyweight competition. And Matt Ragg definitely, even though he didn't win, that top 3 all went through, and he did a Giants live show as well, which are all sort of that same top tier level of athlete. He did very well. I think he came 2nd.
Absolutely. So, so I think obviously Matt, the standout performer. So we've got the overall point score, so we'll just run through them now. So Matt Ragg, 32 points. BJ Stone, 24. So I think Brenton, I've been tracking him on Instagram, and he's been putting up some monster numbers. But training lifts, they're just training lifts, right? But I think he's really shown a well-roundedness. I think there's still a lot to improve, but he's right up there on 24 points, and currently in 2nd place overall.
Yeah, huge.
We've got Coco, the home favourite here, 21 points. So that sandbag really just letting him down there. Eddie Williams, and again, Eddie, he sort of, for mine, he goes under the radar a little bit, as popular and as big as he is, but he just does enough to hang in touch with, you know, the guys at the top. And, you know, he's obviously been around, he's won a number of comps in his own right, but he's just a real workhorse and journeyman that will just keep turning up, putting in the hard graft. He'll never do terrible at any event, and he'll just keep chipping away and building that, you know, that sort of portfolio.
I think
of work.
the thing with Eddie, and like if he goes back and watches this, mate, I'm not having a dig, don't get me wrong, but like Eddie's moving events are phenomenal. Like he's almost unbeatable in a vehicle pool. He's, as we saw with the sandbags, he's very fast on moving events. Some of his static stuff lets him down a bit, and I'll say when it lets him down, it's only because the rest of the competition has gone so far ahead of him.
His 380 deadlift and 170 logs, quote unquote,
a letdown.
A letdown, right? So
they are humongous numbers.
You know, and this is what we were talking about before, right? You know, it's just these numbers are just getting extreme right now. This is an ANZ kind of local, you know, high level, you know, elite level show. It's not a Giants live. It's not, and we're seeing some, you know, really extraordinary numbers. So
so definitely not a dig on Eddie, but when, you know, you go into World's Strongest Man and you go, I can't remember if you did go in the same heat as like a Thor or something like that, but like that guy at that time had no holes in his game. Like his vehicle pulls were extremely fast. His moving events were fast, but has pulled 501 kilos on a deadlift.
And when the world deadlift champion opens at 400 kilos, which is just mind-boggling, that's the minimum number you require to participate in that
to be allowed to
competition.
show up.
You know, so it's been 380 deadlifts, nothing to be sneezed at. But comparison, it's just mind-boggling. So, look, Jordan, I thought he's been performing well. So he's currently sitting equal fourth with Eddie Williams. And
I don't think that slip on the farm has cost him a heat, though. Like,
look, I don't think it would make
cost him
a
a point,
huge difference overall. You know, obviously Matt Ragg is clearly out in front. But it is tight in this sort of next batch, right? So we've got 24, 21, 20, 20, and 18 points for that middle, the peloton, if you will. So, and look, Jordan, he's been up and down. He's had, you know, a few little sort of niggling injuries. His training probably hasn't been as consistent and fluid as he'd like, but he's still relatively new to the strongman game, and this is what he needs to do. He needs to turn up. He needs to compete. That little stumble with the farmers and missing the start call, I've done it. We've all done it, but you can slowly start to build, I guess, a level of resilience by having more experience and more exposure. So continue competing. You don't have to go and win every comp. You don't have to max out and prepare and all that sort of stuff. Treating it almost as a Strongman Saturdays, turning up, having a bit of fun, you know, and building that experience and that sort of body of work is obviously going to do him well coming away from this competition.
And it is good to get that experience under the pressure of a bigger comp like this as well. Like, I mean, say what you will, there's always nerves. And like the bigger the comp, the bigger the nerves. The more people that are watching, the more stuff that's going on. So being able to sort of cop those little things and learn from them is only going to make you a more well-rounded athlete when you do get to the top.
Absolutely. And I've referred to this, quote-unquote, as a local show. This is still a pro show. We've got, you know...
How many World's Strongest Man competitors
are exactly,
on
right?
Like,
so we've got some phenomenal athletes, and I say that in the context of it's just an ANZ competition that we've just got the best of the best here. And, so it's still an extremely high-level comp and caliber of athletes here. And to, you know, be sitting tied fourth, you know, against a couple of, you know, WSM competitors, again, it's nothing to be sneezed at. So
I mean, if you want to compare it to a Giants show, right? So for me in competition, and we always look at this when we're planning events and qualifiers and all the other stuff outside of this show, there's two things that make a show. There's the weights that you expect people to do and the level of competition that shows up to do them. The weights at this show, they're on par with the Giants show. Like the arena shows, they are not like...
Our Atlas Stone series is going to go up to 200 kilos.
That's heavier than the Giants one.
150 sandbag, 190, 170 log, 170 kilo farm. It's all on par.
It's all
800 kilo
level.
deadlift to the rep. So
we tick that off, and then we look at the list where we've got 1, 2, 3 World's Strongest Man competitors in there. We've got multiple Australia's Strongest Man, New Zealand's Strongest Man competitors. So the level of competition is there. Like, doesn't matter that this is on the Gold Coast in Coco's gym. Like, this is high level stuff.
Absolutely.
And like it's a credit for Coco to put this on and get all these guys here.
And for what these guys that are sitting out at the lower half of the list. So Tiana Farraway, who's actually putting in a really good showing compared to his ASI competition 12 months ago.
He didn't have a lot of prep for that, though. So, like, when Matt had to pull out, like, he got a call up, and to his credit, he flew across the ditch and showed up.
And hit a PB log.
Yeah.
Tyler Helm, who's obviously had, he's had some personal issues going on in the last little while, so training has not been his, immediate focus and things like that. But again, coming up and showing. Macaulay Tinker, who we know is on the up-and-coming trajectory at the moment, and of course Shawn Logan, who's a very experienced competitor and battle-worn. But for those guys to then, be associated on the score list with your Matt Raggs and all of these guys that are getting international attention, well, they go, oh, actually, who's these guys on the rest of the
100%.
list that, won this event and did that? So that's how you start to build your profile as an athlete, is by turning up, doing competitions of this level, being, media savvy, all of those things that, we speak about. That's why interviews and social media is so important, is to build your profile.
Yep. And, like, credit to Coco for putting it on to give these guys the opportunity. It's the same as what we're trying to do at ASI last year. Put attention on those top guy and girl athletes, because we had the male and female pro show. And I think that paid off.
Yeah.
For some of the guys that were there. So
for sure. Well, Fadi Al-Mazri, who is not here today, but obviously, we've got a WSM cap off the back of ASI performance and all of those sort of things. So there's certainly a lot of talent coming out of Australia and New Zealand in the strongman world.
I'm looking at this overall scores, and I'm not going to say that Matt is completely unbeatable, but, like, he's
bearing absolute disaster.
He's 8 points out, so he's got to put a point on the board to make sure that he can't lose. So, like, that's good. But we then drop down to 24 points from Breton, 21, 20, 20, 18. Anything can now happen in the stones.
So we know Eddie Williams, phenomenal stone lifter.
He is. And again, it sounds like I'm giving Eddie the beat up. He is a phenomenal stone lifter, but I've seen him make mistakes on stones at this weight range. At the 150, 160 mark, it's chump change. But sort of at that 180, 190 range, I've seen him sort of slip up a little bit. We've got sweat, we've got all of that. I don't know if that's a done deal.
And that's going to be the question here. There's obviously, we've spoken ad nauseum about the humidity and the temperature here. We're just dripping sweat sitting here talking. So these guys, they're sweaty as enough as it is, but it's going to be a real question on their tacky application. Are they going to be wrapping their arms? All of these things. So again, which is an experience kind of based question here. So we'll see how it goes. But
I'm also going to throw it out there, and, like, this is a larger conversation I've been sort of starting to have about stone lifting a little bit, is we talk about the humidity, tacky application, all of that. Brute gripping strength on the stone is going to pay dividends, whether it's cold in Victoria or hot in Queensland or whatever. The reliance on the tacky, I feel, is often getting too much, and then when the tacky fails, it's all over. If you are building that extreme sort of gripping strength,
crushing
that
power,
even if you didn't have the tacky on, you were still a good chance of getting it. So that could be the difference between top points and a complete bomb
absolutely. And tacky is just an aid. It's a tool
it should be.
To that,
it
right?
Should be.
And I'm certainly someone that's been guilty of that, of being having to rely almost exclusively on tacky because my pressing power, that crushing power, has been missing. But now, over the last couple of years, since moving up weight classes and spending more time pressing and developing that strength, my stone lifting's gone up. Because now I've got that addition, or that base strength, that base clamp on the stone, that the tack is then multiplying. So, so it's a really interesting point, Mace. And we've got some obviously big brutish men around here, so they'll be manhandling these lighter stones. But as you said, as the tacky then starts to fade, or the sweat starts to come in, those last couple of stones in the series, how are they going to be able to approach that, and are they going to be able to lift it if the tacky's failed?
I mean, wingspan plays a big part in stones. So if you've got a giant arm wingspan on the bigger ones, that's going to help, because you can get further around it, you can get further over it in the extension. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a bad stone loader if you don't. Coco's a very good stone loader. He's got 200 plus stone. The guys are not got very wide arms.
He's
wide this way.
He's got probably the worst dimensions for stone
I'm going to say
loading.
Rano Heinler's got worse, and the guy I've seen do a 240 kilo stone.
But one of the reasons it is a they've got poor leverages for it is obviously shorter arms, bigger bellies, big biceps. So like you said, you're struggling. But why do they have those big arms and biceps?
Brute
Because
strength.
they're strong and they can press and all that sort of stuff. So it kind of is a bit of a trade-off.
Yep. And like, I mean, Rano, you see him sort of just like nipping the sides of a 22-inch stone, but then the guy's got a 475 kilo deadlift. As long as he can hold it, the extension is there. Like, it just flies up. So you're not out of the race if you're not 6'10" like Tom Stoltman. It does help a little bit because your overall height is also taller and the bar height doesn't change. So loading a stone at your lap height is a lot different to loading it off of your face. For sure. You've loaded a stone off of your face, haven't you, Cam?
I have before,
Stone for height.
Stone for height is not fun. But
All your aspiring promoters out there that are looking at new events, don't put that one in there.
Yeah.
It's
because you may think, I'll just make the stone heavier and that'll limit how high it goes. No, it just means people will more likely to die. Yeah.
So if you want to keep your insurance in check, don't put stone for height in.
That's right.
It's the hot tip.
Absolutely. So we are a few minutes away. We're going to take a short break. So we'll come back in. Ben, how long do you reckon? How long? How long till we go?
Roughly. How long until we go, roughly?
1 o'clock.
Right.
Beautiful. So we've got about 20 minutes or so. They're just setting up the comp floor at the moment. So 1 p.m. local time, so 20 minutes. So, yeah.
Cool.
20
We'll
minutes.
be back with you shortly.
Yep.
Stick around. It's the last event. We're going to find out who is the Beast of Burden Pro Show champion. Back soon. All right, we're back.
One more to go. The classic strongman, the quintessential strongman event, Atlas Stones. So we've got a really heavy series, 5 stones, 160, 170, 180, 190, and finishing on 200 kilos, loaded over a 1.3 metre crossbar.
Yeah, so the series that we're going to use at ASM is only 10 kilos heavier than this on the last stone. So it's exactly the same. It's just a little bit heavier on that N1. And like, I expect quite a few of the guys here to finish this. I would expect that a lot of them wouldn't finish that one at ASM. We've sort of set the bar figuratively quite high for that one because we want to sort of see people over the next few years try and work into actually finishing that run. So, you know, when people choose weights for stones in comps, they're often after different things. Do they want to see everybody finish it in really fast times and have some sprints? And Giants do that, and they do it well. Like, they kept the weight of the stones the same, and it's not light, but it's not obscenely heavy because they want to see people finishing it most of the time. Whereas some competitions will set something that it's not impossible, but it's like it's really damn hard to finish it because they're splitting the stones as well. So when we say splitting the times on the stones, you can, like with the sandbags, you can get a very good score for loading the 4th one or the 3rd one, and that might still split the whole field, even though nobody touches the last one. So I'm rambling a bit, but this is a heavy set.
Yep.
No ifs and buts about it. It's the last event. These guys have been working fast. You know, we're only local time, 1 o'clock.
So what's that?
4 hours so far. So 5 events into the 4th hour. That's a fast show.
Moving at a good pace. So just to recap the overall scores. So we've got Matthew Ragg leading on 32 points, BJ Stone 24 points, Coco 21, Eddie Williams 20, Jordan Osborne 20, Tiana Farraway 18, Tyler Helm 15, Macaulay Tinker 14, and Shawn Logan, who is up now on 10 points.
There's the second stone over, looking good. There it is. It's a good load. Got Vijit there spotting those stones, making sure they don't end up in the crowd.
We have seen that before. These stones have a way of getting away from the crowd, or getting away from the athletes rather.
Going to try and hear out for these time calls to see how long these athletes have left.
Won't be long now. 60 seconds on the clock for Shawn Logan. That will see him done with 3 stones. Next up, we have Big Mac, Macaulay Tinker.
So with that little, I'm not going to say little niggle, that little bicep tear that he sustained a couple of weeks ago. Stones are notoriously dangerous for biceps, so I expect Big Mac going to probably play it a little bit safe here, and for good reason.
And he's not in points contention, and he's going to wave it off, and yeah, play smart, live to fight another day. So.
Now, Tyler Helm. This guy is a good stone loader. I haven't seen him regularly do a stone run. I have seen him regularly load absurdly heavy stones in the gym. So let's see what he can put together in a 60-second time cap. 160 was easy. There's the 170.
So comfortable. And he sits so deep in the lap.
There it is. That's looking good, so there's the 3.
So currently your event leader.
Just trying to hear how long these athletes have got left. 20 seconds, so he has 20 seconds to get this 4 stone. The 5th is probably impractical at this point, so 4 stones would be a really good effort. There it is. Here comes the countdown. Yeah, so a really methodical 4-stone set there for Tyler. He looks gassed as. Fair enough.
Gassed as, bro.
Gassed as, bro. So Loader's just resetting those stones.
So these stones look like they've been cleaned up a fair bit. They look almost new. They haven't got the sort of the clear seal, almost glossy finish to them, but
yeah, I
they're
think
fairly clean stones.
The red and black ones Coco ordered for his own personal selection so that his gym members wouldn't mess them up, but they have seen some use. He did give him a clean earlier this week. I'm not sure how, because he's done a very good job of it. Like, you're right, like they are very devoid of tacky. So Big T approaches the platform.
Easy first lift.
Yeah,
We're on the
160's
board.
on the board.
What we'll start to see over the course of this event is more tacky being applied to these relatively clean stones. So then it becomes a decision of how much then you apply. So someone like Matt Ragg's probably not going to have to put as much tacky on as some of the guys earlier in the run.
As handy as tacky can be, it can actually become a hindrance to you in a number of different ways. Your stone can start sticking to the floor. It can start sticking to your lap, and all the good things about it actually starts working against you.
It becomes a lubricant as well. Shawn Logan just passing on some tacky, and that's such a standout feature of Strongman is the camaraderie and sportsmanship that goes on between athletes willing to share.
There's the pick.
And just running out of tacky and grip on the extension there.
So 3 successful lifts up to the 180 stone.
Which, as we spoke about earlier, 180 at this point in the day is still a very heavy stone to be lifting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next up, we will have Eddie Williams, 2-time Australia's Strongest Man, multiple international appearances at World's Strongest Man and Giants Live. What do you think he's more famous for? His singing or his strongman?
Probably going to go the first, but potentially as a result of the second. So the two are working together. It's good though, because the thing with Strongman is like the sport originated in the circus. It's entertainment. We've legitimised it through sport with rules and regulations and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, people want to come to these shows and see big lifts and entertainment. Yeah. And, you know, Eddie's got that figured out. The bloke can sing better than most. He's stronger than just about everybody. Great combo. So all you aspiring strong men and strong women at home, you know, get stronger, but don't give up your day job singing or dancing or something. If you've got something in your back pocket, keep working on that, because, you know, it can help you down the track.
All right, Eddie is flying further through the first 3 stones, onto the 4th at 190 kilos now.
There's the
easily
pick.
picked.
That looks good.
Just making sure the load.
A little bit of a boost there, but it didn't hurt him.
200 kilos.
He's giving himself lots of time to load this last stone, just popping out the front a bit there. Oh, the pick looks good. He has got time to complete this series. Oh, not quite there with the extension, but a great effort from Eddie.
He's really fast through 4 and gave 200 kilos a real honest crack. That's going to be a strong time to beat.
Look, I'm glad he proved me wrong from earlier. Like, those first 4 stones, textbook. Like, no fumbles, no mistakes. That was really neat. So
Tyler Helm, the only one other than Eddie, threw 4 stones in 55.16. So I'm going to bet the house on it. Eddie's a little bit faster than that.
I think so. Yeah, he moved through those 4 quite quickly. Next
up, we have Jordan Osborne, the Victorian. out of Strong Geelong.
2022 Australia's strongest man. Bit of a backstory there. Got called up less than a week.
The alternate.
Showed up and won it, which was a huge effort. So here he is, 160, easy peasy. He is launching them at the jet. Lucky he's a big bloke. He's all over it to catch him. The 2 is quick. Little slip there on 180. Just rushing it a little bit. Bit more extra tacky on there for good measure.
So Jordan attempting a 170 kilos now. Correction, 180 kilos.
Just a little slip, but he was still hanging on to it.
Just maybe a little sore in the pec there.
Yeah, just
Pec or the lat on the left-hand side. So only 2 stones for Jordan Osborne. So we have Eddie Williams' score come through. So the event leader on 4 stones in 24.97 seconds. So next up, we're getting down to our podium, or the current podium positions. So we have Coco, BJ Stone, and Matthew Ragg to go. So Coco in his home gym, on his stones. He absolutely loves stone loading. 160, no worries. 170
no worries.
quickly.
This split time will be really important. Even if he doesn't load another stone after this one, that means good points for him. But based on that, I reckon 190 should be pretty mobile, and it is. The lap is good.
Super comfortable in the lap.
There is 190. That is big points for Coco.
Showing great experience there, Coco. Really patient in the extension, not rushing it, and making sure it's completed. 200s in the lap for the outright win on the event. 5 stones. And he's going to wave it off after 4 successful stones. This will be tight with Eddie Williams for the event lead. So the time to beat is 24.97 seconds.
My gut feeling is Eddie might have still been a tiny bit quicker. Like, he flew through those 4. Coco, as always, like, methodical. Not slow, but methodical. But even so, even if he gives away a second or 2, that's very good points for Coco.
And Coco just on all 4s out the back there, just catching his breath. The heat and humidity getting the best of him. While we've got BJ Stone, the relative newcomer on the scene here, certainly at this level of competition, just getting the stone set exactly as he likes. Really strong, powerful, mobile athlete. We'll see what he's got here with stones. 5 stone series, 160 up to the 5th stone, 200 kilos.
Now, I actually travelled over to Adelaide in September of 2023, and BJ had just put up a 220 kilo stone in training, and he requested me bring a 250 kilo stone over for him to have a play with.
So these first 2 stones have cleared the crossbar by 4 inches.
So, I mean, some would say wasted effort, but also if the extension is working, just roll with it. There's the 3rd.
190, really comfortable so far. Just again, taking his time, making sure the tacky is exactly how he wants it on his forearm and palms.
He's got just under half of his time left. He needs to be really accurate and concise with this to give him a chance to get to the 200.
That's the easiest load so far today. So for 200 kilos, for the event win.
Come on.
Or the event lead. Asking for the crowd to get behind him.
I thought that 200 might have moved. I guess the thing is, not a lot of people have seen that stone yet, so there's probably not a lot of tacky on it.
Yeah, you can even see it does look quite a different shade from this perspective, the central commentary position. So Eddie Williams is still currently your event leader in 24.97 seconds through 4 stones. Coco, 29.49.
I think that 4 stone run, though, has We're going to find out and see if he's gone quicker than Coco. So there was like was it a 3-point gap between BJ and Coco?
It was 3 points, that's correct.
3 points, so we'll have to see if Coco has either crept another point back on him.
Yeah,
or
so BJ Stone in 41 seconds, so Coco will be currently in second position.
So he picks up a point there. The question will be, does anybody else go in between BJ and Coco to allow Coco to just sneak that second spot? Matt Ragg, though, the last competitor of the day, he is basketballing these stones at the moment. Will we see all 5 get loaded? 190, easy as you like. He's given himself all the time in the world to hit the 200.
He is your competition winner already. That's been confirmed. This is for the stamp of authority.
Oh, the
200 is in the lap.
The extension is not going to be hard, I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
And Matt Ragg is your Beast of Burden Pro Champion 2024 by way of New Zealand. Adds that to a resume of 6 times New Zealand's strongest man and WSM finalist 2023.
He needed to load 1 stone there for the win. He loaded all 5 of them.
And the only one too. So emphatic victory from Matt Ragg of New Zealand. So we'll just recap Event 5 Stone Series. So Matthew Ragg, 5 stones in 45.58 seconds, followed by 4 stones of Eddie Williams in 24.97, Coco 29.49, BJ Stone 41.63, and Tyler Helm also finishing 4 stones, 55.16. Then we move down to the gentlemen that have completed 3 stones, and we have Shawn Logan, 22.1 seconds, Tiana Farraway in 25.08, and then Jordan Osborne, 2 stones in 8.74 seconds, and Macaulay Tinker with a 0 for Event 5.
So that concludes competition. We know who our overall winner is, but we are going to hang out a little bit, find out who has stitched up those 2nd and 3rd and 4th places. Scoring will be calculating that at the moment. We will go to a short break. Stay tuned because there will be a presentation. We'll let the stones get out of the way, get all the maths done.
Yeah.
So stay on the line, and we'll be back shortly with presentations.
That's right. So probably give us about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I reckon.
Give or take.
We'll see you soon.
Ta-ta. So we won't go through the scores just yet.
All right, we are back. Presentations are about to kick off. We've got a little podium set up there.
And the boys have been scrubbing themselves. Jordan's been talking about getting hosed down with a fire hose. So we could have some B-roll footage for later.
Instead of like the champagne bottle, it's just a fire hose, strongman style. We won't go through the placings. I mean, if you're on the score sheet, you're probably looking at them. But for the sake of some drama,
we'll get into that. But look, what an exciting show! You know, very classic strongman. Lots of ups and downs and story arcs and all those sort of things. But I think what this does show is this is going to be a really great preview for what's coming up with Australia's Strongest Man and Woman in
mid-April.
April.
Yep, mid-April.
So, you know, we're going to have a lot of these guys backing up at that competition. And, yeah, it's going to be an exciting couple of months of strongman in Australia. We've obviously got the lightweight, middleweight finals in meat stock in Toowoomba. Middleweights, under 80s and under 90s.
90s and 105s in
90s,
Bendigo.
105s, and 72, 73s, 82s. I always get the women's weight classes confused.
Oh, it's because they're linked with pounds.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Just nice whole numbers, please. And then, of course, super heavyweight man and open women mid-April in Sydney. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting couple of months of strongman in Australia, that's for sure.
Yes, I mean, the way we've structured that, and I won't carry on about it, but, you know, all the titles for Australia's Strongest, they're done and dusted in March and April. We've tried to structure a bit of a off-season, so to speak. Now, whether people choose to take that or not, I don't know. That's up to them. But we essentially don't have any qualifiers, with the exception of the Log Dead Stone Championship, which is in May. But as far as the AS shows, like state qualifiers and title shows, there's a gap from April through to the start of July. And then from July through to November, we run all the state qualifiers, roughly a month apart, but some fall a little bit closer to each other. But there's 7 of those comps around the country where then people go and re-qualify to get back to those title shows in the next year. So there's so much going on in strongman, not only in Australia and New Zealand, but all around the world. It's impossible to get a calendar that suits everything, but we've sort of tried to create a structure that allows people to have a bit of an off season, a bit of a qualifying season, and a bit of a title season with some other stuff mixed in.
That's the thing, and you know, there's so many options to compete in. There's obviously, you know, different federations and all these things, and then there's lots of people that compete in powerlifting or Highland Games and weightlifting, and so you've got to kind of pick and choose. But yeah, having a season of sorts with then your sort of your grand finals, if you will, you know, later on in the year or over the calendar year, builds that momentum, you know, of participation. You know, you've got novice and those free-for-all comps and people that can come in and just do strongman as they please. And then if you want to progress through the titles and end up at, you know, pro shows like this down the line, there's a pathway for that.
Yeah, and it's a good point that you make. And people should never forget that, like, we're looking at the top of the heavyweight gents. Now, there's obviously the top of the open women as well that are at ASW, and then we've got all those title shows that are showing the very best of our sport. If you're wanting to get involved in this sport, you don't have to be able to get up here and take on Eddie Williams or take on Tyler or whatever. You've just got to start.
Yep.
You just got to start lifting stuff and getting stronger. If you never want to go past that point, that's fine. You can still come and watch it. You've got an appreciation of what Matt Ragg finishing a 200-kilo stone run is, because you've tried a 40-kilo stone or a 50-kilo stone and go, geez, that's hard.
Yep. Maybe
you do want to dabble in novice competition. That's fine. It's not always about, I am doing strongman, I have to be the strongest man or woman someday.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's, you know, strongman can just be a training modality that you pursue, and, you know, it's, I guess, the ultimate functional strength of, you know, farmers carries and loading sandbags and stones and things like that. Like, but yeah, this is obviously the upper echelon of competition.
Yep.
So this is the top of the pathway.
And competition isn't for everyone. You can still enjoy enjoy lifting stuff.
I think, and most people, generally their introduction to strongman is through a Strongman Saturdays or a Sundays or a you know, Big Friday, where it's, you just, you know, a bunch of people at the gym just, you know, having a training session and just moving some stuff about.
Yep.
And, you know, for a lot of people, that's all they want to do as far as strongman. You know, powerlifters do a bit of off-season, do a few strongman events, which is, you know, great for powerlifting, get in some different positions and planes and what have you.
And move.
And I actually move, yeah. And do some work
move
and
off the
lift,
platform.
get your heart rate above 15, 150.
Yeah.
All right, we are not far away.
There's a lot of back slapping and a lot of
very cheery.
having
it
fun
back
out
then.
there. Are they going to sing "Happy Birthday" to someone? Maybe it's looking. It's all looking all a bit jovial.
We're getting photos.
Oh, a lot of posing going on.
Yeah,
Wish I had an angle on this.
Is this like current ASMs in the house?
Oh,
ASM,
it
ASWs,
is.
perhaps?
I reckon that's what's going on. There's a few. So
And then
you
we
can't see it because we can't get a camera pointed over there, but we've got Rongo, Coco, Big G, Eddie, Ali and Jordan, who are all either current or past Australia's Strongest Man and Woman winners. Some multiple times, some
strongman royalty, Australian strongman royalty in the house.
A lot of biceps over there.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, so
Kiwis don't even get a look in. One of them's 1'6". Doesn't even get a look in.
he can have his own photos.
Yeah,
later.
yeah. All right, we are almost ready for the presentation. A lot of large people walking towards me.
All right, so should we switch to that camera? Yeah, there we go. You can do the whole list if you want.
All right, school photos by the looks of it.
Yeah, Eddie's doing it correct here. Footy card pose, school photos.
Oh.
What's the load rating on these jerk locks? So huge round of applause from the crowd. Really receptive, really enjoying this strongman competition. So working through in reverse order. So finishing in 9th place on 9 points, Shawn Logan. We have Macaulay Tinker on, sorry, correction, that was not points, it's placing. So 14 points and 9th place is Shawn Logan. Macaulay Tinker 14 points in 8th place. Tyler Helm with 20 points and 7th position. And Tiana Farraway in 21 points. So we're starting to get really tight in this middle batch here in 6th place. And Jordan Osborne, 22 points in 5th place. So we're just getting our podiums organised and in order.
Those soft plyo boxes reminded me of Ron Deuce's couch back in 2019 when Luke Stoltman, Eddie Williams and Buddha Godfrey all sat on the same couch, each weighing over 160 kilos.
Oh dear.
I'm surprised they didn't all end up on the floor, to be perfectly honest. But
so Coco is ties with Eddie Williams in 28 points, but Eddie Williams will take 3rd position on the podium on countback. So Coco in his home event takes 4th place, and Eddie Williams on 28 points with 1 event win, being the Farmers Carry, takes 3rd place with 28 points as well. In 2nd place, we have BJ Stone in his pro debut with 30 points in 2nd position.
so 2 lads currently residing in Adelaide, I believe.
That's good. Yeah, yeah. And then your overall winner with a dominant performance, with a 2nd place, 4th place, and 3 first to finish, including a 200 kilogram Atlas stone load at the end of a 5-stone series. 6-time New Zealand Strongest Man, 2023 World Strongest Man finalist, Matthew Ragg. And a monstrous 41 points, so a dominant performance today for Matt Ragg.
A good warm-up for World Strongest Man, I would argue.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we've spoken before about the caliber of athletes he's coming up against. So, yeah, beating a former, another World Strongest Man alum in Eddie Williams, and obviously BJ Stone, a real up-and-comer. yeah, really strong performance from Matt Ragg today. It's going to set him up for a strong 2024.
And full credit to him, like, you know, he's got a guaranteed World's Strongest Man appearance. He could easily sort of just hold back a bit, and either not show up or just put in a bare bones attempt, but he didn't.
So Eddie Williams just saying a little bit of a thank you.
Australia and New Zealand, so just want to say thank you on behalf of all the athletes.
Thanks, Eddie. I see you have their social media as well. So,
Really well run comp from Coco's gym here. So all of the crew, all of the helpers in the red shirts that you've probably seen walking across the screen, put in a monster effort. They're obviously battling the heat and humidity today as well. And yeah, so well done to all the volunteers for their work today.
A quick note, if you are wanting to go back and watch all of this show, it will be available on YouTube, I believe, if we can get that first one unlocked from the music that was not on it. So if you missed the first half of the show, just hang out. We'll try and get that unlocked and you can catch that up later on. But for now, I believe that's
us done.
Beast of Burden 2024.
Yep. Thank you.
福間水